everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey,
We got a Switch 2, and by we, I mean
I
me.
was gonna say that's a very that we's doing a lot of work.
Yeah, thought about that after I said it. So, it is fantastic.
How were you on the Switch One? Like, I don't remember you were like as like a console versus like the Switch Two. I feel like Switch One, you weren't like, "Whoa, Switch One." Are you like, "Whoa, Switch Two" now that you've got a Switch Two?
I think I was like, whoa, Switch 1, and Switch 2 is just that, but substantially better.
Oh, substantial. Okay, all right, that's fair.
And I think that's the thing that this is getting, like, dinged for, but also praised for, is it's
Yeah,
like, are you in the camp of, like, this is Nintendo, why didn't you blow my mind with, like, some new thing where my foot makes Mario jump? Or are
yeah,
you like, hey, that last thing you did was really good, do better?
yeah,
Because I think
yeah,
whichever one, because if you lean one way or another, like that's going to pretty much paint your entire picture of this because it is very much just, hey, that really good thing you did. Oh, you're doing it really better? Cool.
yeah.
And that's the Switch 2, which I think out of any other console is exactly what we expect. It's like, oh, it's a PlayStation 4, but better? Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an
Yeah, yeah.
Xbox, but better? Cool. And with Nintendo, it's like, oh, it's a Switch, but oh, it's just a Switch, but better? What the hell?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It is funny too because I do feel like I do feel like the major complaint was can't like make this better, and it wasn't like because I think the switching thing I think it was like really cool. I was like
Yeah.
it'd be dumb for them to abandon it because it's just a good idea. I used it almost entirely in handheld. I think you almost used yours like almost exclusively on TV or something.
Yeah, like
Or
80
mostly
20,
on TV.
probably 80-20.
Yeah,
Not 80.
yeah. It's just like that was a really cool idea. That and like everybody was like, I just wish it was more powerful. It's like okay, we'll do that.
We
They did
did.
that.
We took your complaint and did it. Why aren't you happy?
Because Nintendo fans are never happy because Nintendo's always doing weird shit.
Kind of fair. So I just kind of want to talk through my initial like 4 or 5 days with this thing. First of all, I just want to, we've kind of hit on it already. It is just better in every possible
Yeah.
way. Specifically, like the games look current gen, which is nice.
Okay, sure.
I'm 99% of my time playing this thing has been Mario Kart, as with I'm sure every other person. So
Yeah.
obviously you're comparing, the one game Nintendo has pumped everything into compared to everything else. So a little bit there. So we'll have to see that a little bit longer. But the other thing is it's faster, which is so nice because some of those Switch games towards the end, when you load up a Switch game, like you could like load that thing up, set your handheld down, go grab a snack, come back and pick it up,
Sure.
and it's still loading into that damn game. It is fast. The other thing with that speed that I noticed right away is the eShop is usable. I got to
I'm
the
sure
point where
the eShop was crazy. It was like such a it was
it
like
just
so crappy just trying to go through. It wasn't fun to like click through stuff.
it was because you would literally go like 10 games through a menu and then it would pause and load. 10 games through a
Yeah.
menu, pause and load. This it runs through everything. Everything runs super fast through it. They've organized things. So even like something that I wish PlayStation would do that maybe it's in there. I just haven't seen it, but they have like a wish list is like the second tab is just your list of wish list
Yeah.
games, which is super nice. And then it literally just says like wish list 29, 7 on sale. So you can just kind of quickly
Yeah.
see some of those things. Just super good UI and just speed. Other weird little tiny things. It makes fun noises. The boot up noise is really
Okay.
good.
What do you mean?
Like when you click the settings icon, it goes like a gear would. Like it's just fun little noises. Like I don't know why that popped in my brain as soon as I turned this thing on. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, these noises are funner than Switch. So good noises.
So is the UI I was heard is like pretty similar though, or if not this so it's not the same. I've heard it's similar, so I don't know if it's the same or not.
It's the same with a couple subtle tweaks here and there, just like little like ease of use type of things for the most part.
Yeah.
In the menu specifically is where you get different things. So like when you open up the eShop,
Oh,
it has more
okay.
options.
Gotcha.
When you go to Nintendo Switch Online, instead of just being this weird page that's pretty much meaningless, you can actually scroll through every game for every console and load them straight out of there.
Oh,
So
interesting.
instead of
Okay.
having to go to like the Game Boy Advance one, look through all the Game Boy Advance games, go, nope, not a Game Boy
Oh.
Advance, jump over to Super Nintendo. They're all just in there and you can kind of
That's
pick
super
and choose.
nice.
It's that stuff where it's just, it's,
Okay, that makes me more interested than anything to be honest. Is having all those all the NSO apps in one thing. I was like, ooh,
but that's what I mean, where it's just these little things where it just seems like everything that people complained about, it's like, oh, we fixed that thing you complained
Yeah.
about. We fixed that thing you complained about, which is what I wanted.
yeah,
Getting into the thing itself, the screen is giant. It feels giant. I don't have a Steam Deck, so I don't know how it compares to that. But compared to the Switch One, it feels like I'm holding like twice the system in my hands. It's
Yeah.
heavier. Everything feels more solid. Like when you hold it, I feel like the Switch had a little bit of that. Like if I like torque on this a bit, it's gonna
Yeah,
snap.
snap. Yeah.
This feels like it's like really solid and heavy. Like I feel like I could,
Yeah.
drop it, play with it a little bit, and it's not gonna snap in half.
Yeah.
The stand though works. Like if you want to pop it on a table stand,
Yeah.
but it weirdly, because it's all one big giant piece now, I feel like if I
Okay.
don't pull it all out at once, like it could snap in half. It feels like weirdly sturdy but weirdly
Weird.
breakable. So I've only used it like once or
Yeah.
twice, but I'm like I feel like I'm gonna snap this thing off, which is weird.
That's actually an Easter egg from the first Switch feeling so cheap.
I
No,
did a
no, I
little
do
bit of that
remember
in
getting
there.
the Switch. I do remember getting the Switch One and it feeling not like an expensive piece of hardware. And that's like I do when I play the Steam Deck.
Yes.
Steam Deck feels nice. There is, but it doesn't. I don't think it has that sort of like iPod new phone level of heft and feeling to it. There's like still not cheap is not the right word, but it feels like a PC thing. So I'm really curious how the Switch 2 holds up. It holds up against it. I gotta find somebody's Switch 2 to hold. Can I hold your Switch 2 for a second?
I would be curious because it feels expensive. It's one of the things where you
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
like this feels like I paid $500 for this and that was the right price because this feels
Yeah.
expensive. So
That's good. Yeah.
I don't have a Pro controller for this yet, and that is tops on my list of things to get because man, do I forget how much Joy-Cons suck because I have not touched them in years.
Can you not use your Pro controller?
Well, it's a Switch One Pro controller.
So what? What's the difference?
I don't know. Now that you say that, I didn't actually try and like connect it. I just assumed it would work.
You should try. That's how Nintendo gets you. They make you buy peripherals you don't actually need.
I mean, I guess like it's only missing that game chat button, so there's no real reason why it should. And otherwise,
Yeah.
it's basically,
And how often are you going to use that game chat button ever? Have you ever
I-
chatted in a game? That's actually a
So-
good question. Have you ever chatted in a video game before?
not probably in the last 2 to 4 years. I have used that game chat button a bunch because it's right underneath the home button, and just instinctively your finger drops down, and I've bumped it
Oh.
like 7 or 8 times. That just pops
That's
up. It's
funny.
like, who do you want to game? And I'm like, I don't want to game chat. Sorry. So no impressions on game chat because that is not my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the Joy-Cons suck. Like I forgot how bad it feels. That stupid little grip thing is no better than the Switch one was, where it's just that
Oh, man.
flat panel with like a bump in the back.
Yeah.
I've already like just taken them out and just am holding them in my hands individually because that thing is so uncomfortable to hold for more than like 20 minutes at a time.
So how does it feel like so does it feel better or worse when it's like attached to the actual console? Because like I would be playing it almost exclusively portable. Does it feel not good when it's like attached to the console?
And like we mentioned in the front, like I played most of my Switch docked, and I think I'm probably like,
Got it.
if I've put maybe 10 hours on this thing, I've probably put 8 docked and 2 handheld. It
Mhm.
feels heavier, it feels sturdier. I do still get the like where my hand gets funky after like 20 minutes, which is I always my problem with Switch
Oh,
One,
that's
where
a
it's like my
bummer.
hand like gets like
Yeah.
not like numb or like feels like it's falling asleep, like that type of feeling a little bit. I get that still with it. Just because I think it's
that's a
just because it's all flat, like there's no contour, there's nothing to grip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's still funky. I feel like it feels better just because of the heft and the weight to it. But
Yeah.
it's still definitely going like, this is a cool piece of technology, but man, do the Joy-Cons and controllers suck.
God, that's such a bummer. The Joy-Cons were always like a huge. They were so expensive, and they were the worst controller. So that's like, well,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of Switch stuff was like additional cost to me that I did not enjoy. And I was like, I remember having switched my Switch Joy-Cons fail and getting new ones. I'm like, man, I can't believe this is at the same price as like a PS5, which feels just so good. Like the PS5 and the Xbox
yeah.
One controllers. I have an Xbox One for my PC. And I was just like, they feel so good. I don't know. That's annoying. I like that because the Steam Deck is like not a consumer friendly device. It's like for gaming PC people who understand like,
Yeah.
hey, this is like not the, but it has like a huge grip on it. It's like very nice form factor, but the thing is giant. I wonder if it's just something it probably just looks ugly on a Switch if you actually put all that stuff on it. Because I know that
You put like a
and
little
it's also a way to
bump
sell
or a
grips,
little
I
bump,
guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah.
Pro controllers. I will say though, if you flip them now and you use them like individually, like as their own individual controller, So like you
Hmm.
do the oh yeah, we're gonna share the joy thing or whatever the Nintendo's thing
Oh,
was for
sure.
a while with the first one. I played Mario Kart with my daughter for a while, and those little controllers actually don't feel bad because now you've got a big hefty
Oh, that's
hunk
good.
on the top that you attach to it, so that feels much better because they made those
Hmm.
top L and R buttons like 3 times the size, so you can actually find them on there versus the
Oh,
old ones where
nice.
you're like
Yeah.
trying to figure out where they are. So I actually thought that was much nicer about them. The other thing is the magnets so much nicer because again I feel like you kind of
Mm.
always had that feeling when it was attached, so like if I bump this it's just gonna whoop, whoop, out of it, but you can really like
Yeah.
rip
Yeah.
on those things, you can mess with them and they are attached solid. They are it's night and day difference of how again it just makes it feel more expensive, more solid, more heftier just by having those
Mhm.
magnets clunk in there. And that worked really really well.
How are the games? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No,
And
keep going.
we'll get to the games. Last thing on the Joy Cons, the mouse controls work, and they're kind of very, very, very cool. I don't have any
What are you
game.
using mouse controls for? Okay, that's my next question. Yeah.
I don't have any games that have them enabled, but you can use them through the menus and stuff. It's instant flip. So as soon as you like, if you have that in your hand, if you just like pop it on a surface, the mouse pointer pops up instantaneously. There's no toggle. There's no
Oh,
nothing.
cool.
It's just as soon as it detects that it's sitting that way, the mouse pointer
Hmm.
pops up. Also, you can still use the stick. So like in eShop, you can like
Oh, weird.
drag it over, click on coming soon, click it, and then you can just hold the stick down and it'll scroll through everything. So it kind of combines the controller and
Oh, that's
mouse
cool.
controls in kind of a unique way with that. The biggest question that I think you had when we talked about this with the reveal is, will it work on my couch? I'm not sitting at a desk. It works on my couch.
Okay. How does it feel on your couch? To me, I was like using my laptop mouse on my couch feels like using a mouse on a couch. I just figured is that like just the intended use? It's like it just feels like a mouse you're pushing around the couch.
Yeah, it does. The angle is very awkward. Like it's just like an awkward angle to
How-
have it like at that thing. So it does feel a little awkward,
yeah.
but it works on my couch, which is what your initial issue was. Was like, I don't have a desk. I'm
Yeah.
not playing this at a desk. I have it works on my couch. So
It's
there you
funny.
go.
It's funny. It says
So the
that's so
game.
silly. It's yeah, yeah. The games, yeah. I'm so curious. I'm so curious how this is gonna sound stupid. I'm so curious, like graphics wise and stuff, like how it looks. Because looking at the footage, it looked good. It didn't. But I'm wondering if that's like one of those things. Like, hey, if you see this thing like running in person, it's like actually this stuff looks like really nice.
It looks very nice. I
Yeah,
would not. There is no difference between looking at Mario Kart and looking at a game on PS5 in my mind.
sure. I can believe
It
that.
it,
Yeah.
it is 1-to-1 comparable. It runs super fast. It looks great. It plays great. Everything about it is great.
Mhm.
When you talk games, though, there is a limitation of okay, I finished my Grand Prix of Mario Kart. I did some free roam, did some
Mhm.
knockout tours. What am I gonna play next?
Yeah.
All
There's that.
right, Soul Calibur 2. Here we go.
Yeah, which was I think the most exciting announcement for you with the Switch 2 stuff. I can
It
believe
was.
it's funny because I remember playing Mario Kart 8 and going like this game looks incredible. Like it looked about as good as a Mario game should look. Like it feels like when you start getting like that extra level of detail, that might be a little too much. I'm actually wondering. It's like kind of like Astrobot is a very good looking game, but like if you try to make it any more realistic, it's something will look kind of weird and off. And I'm wondering if that's kind of what they hit with like the new Mario Kart. It's just like this is as good as a Mario Kart ever needs to look because like looking at the videos, it looks like pretty impressive.
Yeah, and we'll get into more Mario Kart and Mario Kart review, but I think with that, just because that's the only game we really have to talk about, I
Yeah.
do think when you look at it, it is what you would want Mario Kart to look like. It
Yeah.
fully embraces the Mario Kart art style, so I don't feel like you get that like too realistic thing because it's really gone
Mhm.
like, okay, no, this is what a real car looks like in Mario Kart. This is what a real building looks like in Mario Kart because you are driving
Mhm.
through all these things. But again, just the look is flawless. Like you drive over the ocean and rivers and everything, and the water effects are great. The scenery is amazing. There's lots of things going on screen. Like again,
Mhm.
it doesn't. At no point would you tell me like pull that up and tell me, oh yeah, it's running on a PS5 Pro, and I'd be like, okay, yep, that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't
That's
see any
good to hear.
downgrade there, but I'm loving it. Again, 4 or 5 days in. My biggest thing is I'm sitting here going, all right, well, I guess it's just sitting here for a month till Donkey Kong comes
Yeah.
out because Mario Kart's over. And sure, I'll put 5 or 10 hours into Soul Calibur, but after that, I don't really need to go back and play Breath of the Wild again.
Well, I was wondering, are you gonna start picking up like any Switch games? Like, oh, I heard this game was kind of Switchy. The one I was like actually super curious about was Paper Mario. I'm like wondering if that has a 60 FPS mode. Are you like thinking about going back to any of the other like your old Switch games to see if they like, oh, they run better? Or is there like a Switch game like, oh, I was gonna wait until this looked a little bit better or something?
I don't care about
Because
that.
they don't play Chronicles X still out there, I think. At some
I don't
point.
care about that. You're asking the wrong person.
Okay.
I'm the one that's like
Fair.
sending you footage going, is this 30 or 60?
That is true.
So if I'm doing that, I'm definitely not going like, oh, I better go. Paper Mario was running like trash. I better play through that.
That's
No,
funny.
I don't. Again, like I'm there's still a handful of Switch games that I haven't played that I will definitely buy at some point to run on this thing.
Mhm.
But for now, it's just like okay, whatever. Like the new Tron, I'm going to buy the new Tron game on for Switch.
Great.
So that way I can play it on handheld. But other than that, no.
That's funny. Yeah.
But I'll be curious because I think again, it is just the what if we took the Switch and fixed all of your complaints, and I think
Yeah.
that that is a good way to have a system that has longevity instead of going like, well, we're going to shoehorn in this weird new feature that nobody really wants, but we need. We're Nintendo, damn it! We need a second controller with a fourth screen on it to make sure that this thing is crazy. And I think that the longevity from this is just going to come from going, okay, now we're parallel with these other systems essentially, and PS5 probably has 2 to 4 more years on its life cycle before we start moving through. Xbox is kind of doing its own weird thing, but we're going to basically be on par for a few years with these other systems that are out there. And I think that's enough to make it something interesting. I think that's enough to create games that are gonna feel like Mario Kart, where it's like I don't feel like I'm taking a Switch downgrade for this at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good.
We'll have more Switch 2 over the years. We are Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below. There's a link to support us on Patreon as well. We'll see you later.
Bye.